Hey good people, welcome to this course. Today what we're going to do is we're going to break down some shapes. In the last one we did Olivia Rodrigo and we did Vampire, and I kind of wanted to take a little bit more of a look at that and look at some, not just the scale shapes, but some places where you could throw some really cool licks in there. So let's go ahead and check that one out. I appreciate you coming back. In the last lesson, if you haven't checked that out, be sure to go check that out. That's where I'm breaking down Olivia Rodrigo and Vampire. It's in the key of F minor. So I'm going to play the F minor here on the 5th string. I'm going to play it at 8, 10, 11. 8, 10, 11 on the 4th string. And then on the 3rd string I'm going to play 8, 10. On the 2nd and the 1st strings I'm going to play 8, 9, 11, 8, 9, 11. And all I'm really going to do is focus on that scale shape right there because I want to show you some cool licks. We've been doing lots of stuff with just scale shapes, and then I've been coming along in a lot of the lessons and saying, okay, here's how you can play over that, and I'd be like, but then I don't break that down, right? Because I'm trying to get you into the pattern of learning the scale shapes. But of course, if the idea here is to get you to just pick up the guitar and go, then I want you to also have some cool licks that you can play with that as well. So just in that scale shape alone right there. Let's go ahead and look at something I call anchor shapes. So on the 1st and the 2nd strings, we're playing this. We're playing 8, 9, 11, 8, 9, 11. And then that 8 and that 9, while it's the beginning of those two shapes, it can be the tail end of another shape, which I call an anchor shape, which is going to be 6, 8, 9, 6, 8, 9. You see how they connect on the 8 and the 9? So what I'm going to do is I'm kind of going to show you how I noodle with that. And noodling is not always the best technique, but it's fun to do, right? So I can do something like this. Right? And there's really no rhyme or reason to that. Basically all I'm doing is I'm doing some hammer-ons and some pull-offs. So I'll start on the 8th fret of the 1st string, and I'll hammer on to the 9th and the 11th. And then I'll pull off from the 11 to the 9 to the 9 to the 8. And then I'll hit the 9 again. And then I'll go back to the 8, and I'll slide back to the 6. So something like that. Right? And I can do the same thing on the 2nd string. So you get something like that, right? That right there, that'll tell in, where I went from the 6 to the 8, back to the 6, came back to the 8, and then came back to the 9, and then back to the 8, back to the 6, right? Right, same thing there, right? You take little shapes like that, and then you just kind of experiment with them. You could, of course, come up with specific patterns like I just did and just go ahead and play around with those. Right? Something like that. Or you can just noodle. So there's all kinds of different possibilities in there. But those little slippery, legato, slidey techniques are right there within those anchor shapes. Okay? It also lends itself to some cool tapping, right? You got that. And then you got this. But if I leave the left hand up here, I can tap with my right hand. So something along those lines. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4. When I hit this note right here, right, which is my 9th fret of my 2nd string, then I'm tapping on the 11th fret of my 2nd string. Then backing up, flicking that off, going back to the 8th, then back to the 7th or the 6th. And then coming back to the 6th fret of the 1st string, to the 8th, to the 9th, tapping on to that 11th. Right? We can come back down, and then go back to this one. Then here. I need a fret wrap because it is kind of noisy, right? So what I'm trying to do, since I don't have a fret wrap, is I'm palm muting as best I can with this hand. Teaching and showing you this at the same time is kind of hard, and I'm not the best tapper in the world, but I'm working on it, right? And this is what I want to help you do. I want to help you work on this stuff as well. So there's a little tapping exercise in there. What's really cool is you could take just a couple of these, like this one, and you can tap there. Or you could take this one right here, this 8th and this 10th fret, and combine them all, right? So you got something like that, right? Okay, so combining them isn't my strong suit, but you work on it, you get there, right? So that kind of gives you an idea where you can put some licks in there too. Another one you might do with just those two is go ahead and play like little double stops, like, but arpeggiated. Right? And it would fit in that song that's in F minor. Right? Right? All kinds of cool stuff in there. The bends work, right? Vibrato. This is something like this. Well, I'm just playing 2 notes of that 3-note sequence there, the 6th and the 9th, and then here I'm playing 2 notes, the 8th and the 9th. Going back to that little kind of pattern that I showed you at the beginning. Right, the tapping. So it's all in there. And you play around with that kind of shape and you get all kinds of cool stuff. And that's where licks come from. So how many licks do you need to know, right? How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop, right? How many licks do you need to know? You learn as many as you can and you practice them. Hey, as always, thanks for checking out my videos. I got videos on YouTube every single week, so be sure to check back, like, subscribe, share if you got some people out there who are playing guitar and want to learn how to master the fretboard, unlock the fretboard, because each week I delve into a little bit more and want you to keep coming back and checking it out. And don't want you to miss a single episode. So make sure you like, subscribe, and of course share. And also, if you want to go deeper down the rabbit hole with me, I've got a great free course. It's about how you can unlock the fretboard in 7 days. So the fretboard is very circular, and the shapes that we play on the fretboard, even though it seems like there's a whole lot of them, they're very circular as well. And what I do in my 7-day course is I break down how you can see that circle, or as I like to call it, see the code, see the fretboard code, unlock the fretboard, so that no matter where you're at on the fretboard, you can find specific shapes that you can put into your muscle memory, you can make them tacit, and you can just go ahead and play them no matter where you're at, no matter what key the song is in. Just kind of gravitate back towards certain specific shapes that allow you to then flow with your muscle memory rather than memorizing everything on the fretboard. Just kind of your muscle memory allows you to do it. And you know, it still takes work. It's not something that's get shreddy quick scheme. It's not something like that. It's kind of like a little bit of a shortcut, just to kind of get you in the pocket so that you can understand exactly where you're playing at. And then it gets you picking up the guitar and just playing, rather than spending a whole lot of time practicing scales, a whole lot of time memorizing the notes and things like that. It really is going to help you play this a lot more intuitively, right? Put things into your muscle memory so you can just see the code and play more intuitively. So check it out, 7-day free course, link is in the description. Let me tell you something I do. I pick a song, whether it's something original or something I'm working on like a cover, and I go ahead and say, okay, I know this shape works in there. I know that shape's going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, well that works. And I know that I like this little tapping lick, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there, right? That works, right? The notes on the, what is that? Those notes that are on the 8th, no, take that back. Yep, the 8th and the 10th frets. Like I know those are in there, right? So I can go ahead and see all that works. There's your little arpeggio. But you also got that tapping in there. Then I just come back. That doesn't fit, but this would. If I wanted to keep on tapping. 12th fret. 11th fret, 11th fret, 12th fret, 11th fret, 11th fret. Go a little bit slower. Oops. So if you wanted to leave that one out there, so this is what I would practice. I would keep practicing that. Until I got it down pat. And then I would put it in a song. And I would keep on working on it until I could get it down pat to where I can record it. And the cool thing about recording, you know, I'm not going to be shy about this. I'm not going to lie about this. The cool thing about recording is if you make a mistake, you can, you know, patch yourself in, right? You can overdub, right? Even if you make a mistake, it's okay. You can come back and redo it. I try my best to get things as clean as possible when I record, and also to try to play things as much as possible in a full take, right? I don't like to come back and say, okay, oops, I messed up there. Let me do that part again. Okay, I just did that part. Let me do this part again. Like, I don't want to do that over and over again. I feel like that's cheating. I want to get it as close to possible where I can play the whole thing straight through, but that doesn't always work, right? And time constraints, you get tired, your fingers get tired. Sometimes you just got to take a few shortcuts, and that's okay when you're recording. But eventually, of course, if you want to get on stage and you want to play these things live, you got to get to the point where you can just nail this down, right? And once you get it to that point, then, of course, you can do whatever you want to with it, okay? So, hopefully this has been a cool lesson for you. I showed you a lot of licks in there. The tapping, the anchor shapes. Play with some of that stuff and let me know, are there any epiphanies that you're having? Are you, kind of having any aha moments like, oh my goodness, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could do that. Is any of this difficult for you and you're having a hard time with it and you want me to kind of expand on this lesson a little bit? Let me know about that. And if it is working out for you, then, let me know what is working out for you. What shapes do you like best? There's only a few, really just a few shapes in there, right? Just those anchor shapes. We can, of course, back it all the way up to the F minor. We didn't even play with that. But it's in there as well, right? But play with that. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like. Let me know what you think you'd like to see more of, or did you take this and improve upon it, expand upon it? Let me know. I'd love to know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. I've also got a free course for you, 7-day course to unlock the fretboard, to see the fretboard code. If you're liking these lessons and you're enjoying learning some of the things that I'm showing you, then the 7-day course that I created is basically a foundational course. It basically shows you string by string how to understand the shapes of the fretboard, how they're a circular nature, how the fretboard itself has a circular nature, so that you can go ahead and understand where you can place your fingers quickly and easily in order to navigate to certain specific shapes no matter where you're at on the fretboard, and then play your favorite songs at any key and just kind of pick up the guitar and go. Just pick it up and shred anytime you want to. And you don't have to be a shredder. It doesn't have to always be about heavy metal and hard rock, right? It could be about anything, any musical genre or style that you like. Everything has the same basic components. There's 12 notes in the chromatic scale. There's 5 notes in the pentatonic. There's 7 notes in the diatonic. They all kind of fit on no matter what musical style you're playing. It just depends on how you play, the effects you're using, the groove that you're putting into it, the mojo and the emotion that you're putting into it. But the notes are the same. So that's what's really cool about the guitar. Pretty much any musical instrument's the same way, is you can play any style you want to, but you're still using the same components. So if you want to unlock that, see the fretboard code, put that into your muscle memory so you can just pick up the guitar and play intuitively, play with ease, play with confidence, and play the way that you want to play without having to spend a whole lot of time memorizing everything on the fretboard, then check out my 7-day course. If you just want to pick up the guitar and play and start making music, then my 7-day course is definitely for you. So check it out. Link is in the description.